Tracy and I today are going to cover the kvCORE dashboard. So everything that you see on the dashboard when you first log into kvCORE. There's a lot of quick links at the top and then some activity down at the bottom. So Tracy, take it away.
All right. And I just in the chat at least put our outline in there for today so you can kind of walk through it. So what we'll do is you want to log into your kvCORE. And so to do that, you have to log into your Mac Center. So you go to remax.net. And then from there, you'll put your remax.net email and then your password. So once you do that, then you'll be in your Mac Center platform and you're going to want to look for your tile that says Platform Max Tech Powered by kvCORE. So if you don't see it in your apps right in the shortcut, you can click on the apps and tools over on the left, and then it'll open it up and you can look for that tile. So I'm going to go in. And then from here, as Shannon was saying, we're going to kind of walk you through just the dashboard through here. And then I'm also going to walk you through some of the playbooks and I'll kind of explain what that is as well. So when you first come in, it automatically will bring you to your dashboard and you'll see sometimes there might be announcements up here. So as the company, we have put this in just to remind you, if you come in and you want to see the link and click on it, we have announcements. Your office could also come in and add an announcement too. So that's kind of what that feature is. There's also over here, it's called the company cloud. If you were to click on this, what happens is there's some login links that maybe we might put as shortcuts in here. And then there's also links, for instance, we added our outline for our kvCORE summer series that we're doing. And then also we have a quick reference guide in here that you could click on and it has all the recordings and references that we are doing through these different classes for the 8-week series. So just know that these are, a good place to come look and start, especially with the trainings if you want to kind of come back and refresh it or go through those. So another part up here, you're going to see these little quick buttons. Obviously, you can add a contact from right here. You can also go in and do it from your smart CRM, and you will definitely be going through, that next time for our training. But then there's also the shop marketplace. Again, another quick link. There's a variety with this, and I just wanted to show you this because there is a lot. This first part is it's just giving you what happens in this marketplace is it's really a mix. It's a mix of free tools that are already provided to you under kvCORE. And then there's also paid add-ons that you can also have. And so you'll see it has like all the products, but you can also go by tabs and then it kind of walks you through. And again, as we're doing these trainings, you're going to notice that there's going to be different sections that kind of overlap and bring you to the same place as well. That's just what that is. It's just a quick button that take you there if you wanted to navigate that. And then there's also quick actions. And I'm going to show you here in a minute because there's also a mobile app that is tied to kvCORE. And that is basically your on-the-go version of your kvCORE platform. And then there is also an open house guide. Or an open house app, I should say. So I'll walk you through that too. But with that being said, I just wanted to give you a side note because you could come in here, obviously on your desktop, and let's say you're like, okay, I just need to add this task to one of my contacts, but I don't want to go find them and then put it in there. You can do these quick actions where you can, again, add a contact, or you could do any of these different actions. And then when you finish completing your notes or whatever details you have, it'll ask you who to tie it to, and it'll automatically go to that contact. This is also another layer on your mobile app that's tied to kvCORE. So you could be on the go, you open up your kvCORE app, you click on the quick actions because you want to add a task or, details, you can do it that way too. So that's kind of what that is. There's also, and I'm not going to click on it because I'm actually in an agents and it's fine, but you won't see it the same. If you haven't synced your Gmail or your Google or your Outlook to your kvCORE platform, it is a really nice additional layer. And it's really up to you because it does feed all of your emails in here. So you'll just have to kind of see how you want that. But if you do sync your, your Gmail or your Outlook, there's some layers to it because you click on that envelope, you pick which platform that you want it to sync, and then after you tell it to allow, you will then click on this envelope again, and at the bottom there's going to be a settings, so it'll say, Google settings or Outlook settings. When you click on that, it then gives you another layer where you can tell it to automatically sync your contacts from your Gmail and Outlook, or you can manually add them. You can sync your Google Calendar or your Outlook if that feeds through. It will just give you the capability to tell it what you want to sync and what you don't want to sync. But the nice feature with that is when you do sync it, it will, especially with emails, you can then go into here and anytime you respond to, one of your contacts, it keeps track of all of that in your smart CRM, which will show you that next time. And then it also has another layer where you can go and view the email directly from, wherever you want to look at it. So it is a nice feature, highly recommend. As far as staff, because some staff might be in the training too, I wouldn't as staff sync your email, but for agents, I think it's a really nice feature. So there's also this little check mark. So that's just giving you a list of any incomplete tasks that maybe are either past due, due today, due tomorrow, or upcoming. So it's just a quick snapshot for you. And then there's also show recent activity. And so that'll just show you everything that you may have done. And that could be anywhere from, adding a contact to receiving email or correspondence. So that's just kind of another little quick feature there. Now I'm going to show you the download mobile app. So it's that button here on the top right. So we'll click into here. Oh, and I didn't mention, so here's a little thing too. Sometimes when you come into your kvCORE, you will notice that there'll be some little announcements or notes from Inside Real Estate or kvCORE as well. So for example, down here, they have a live webinar coming up. Sometimes if you want, you can click and register for things. They also, especially because your listings will feed into kvCORE when you put them into your MLS. And so there's sometimes too where it'll say, hey, do you want to do a property boost or, want to do something with your listing? So, and we'll walk through a little bit more details about the property boost and stuff too here in just a little bit. So with that being said, once you're in the mobile app section, you're going to see there's two options. So the mobile app on the left, this is it's tied to kvCORE. So you would download this. And so the recommendation, just because it's not so easy to find this in the App Store or in Google Play, because we're not just kvCORE, but we're also Max Tech. So what I highly recommend is that you come in here and you text the link to you. That will ensure that you get the right app downloaded and then you can use it. What will happen with this too, and we kind of mentioned this in our last training, just if for some reason you hit the text and you don't get the message, you might want to go back into your Mac Center, click on your profile in the top right, click update profile, and then just go make sure that your mobile or your cell phone is set as primary. It just might be that maybe something's not synced in there, but it should automatically send you a text. And then once you download it, your username and password is the same as your Mac Center. So you would just put your login credentials and then it will download for you. So with the mobile app, what it will do is it has a lot of the similar features that you would on your desktop. So you can do the quick actions and add like your contacts. You can also even look at your listings, and you can send, listing details to somebody in your contact database. I have in the outline, I kind of give you a list of all of the things that it will do, but it really will allow you to do a lot of the stuff that you do under your desktop version. There's also what's called a dialer. And really what that is it will allow you, if you want to set up a list of calls that you want to make every day. A lot of those are going to be tied more to like your prospects, new leads, active leads. But with that dialer, it gives you an option where you call directly from the app, and you can make it mimic your phone number, or it can also send from our smart number. So a smart number that is tied to our office, and each of our offices has a smart number. And we kind of had gone through that last time in our training, but there's just a couple options and layers that you can do with that dialer. And then the other part is, you can add tasks and things. So with the Open House app, what you can do with this is when you download this, again, I would text it to yourself so then you can download it. It's basically your electronic sign-up sheet. So you do want to have a little bit of time before your open house, because when you download and set this up, it asks you what questions you want to ask. And then what'll happen is then when people come in and sign in or register, their information will go into your smart CRM. And then from there, it gives you the capability to follow up, because whatever details they share will then go into your smart CRM. The other layer, which we've turned this off, we're going to be going over smart campaigns and a couple of trainings moving forward. But if you had the smart campaign turned on that's tied to this open house app, it actually is a nice feature because it allows you to do follow-up with them. And it's not just email correspondence, but it could remind you to do different tasks. And it can also have like it could text them, and it has some different features in there. But it is just really kind of a nice, they're both really nice. The only thing with the Open House app that I like to mention is it is just mobile friendly. So what that means is, in the outline that we shared with you guys, I do have some links kind of walking you through. You either would have to use an iPad, or there is a third-party app that you could download on your PC in order for people to sign in. Otherwise, you have to give them your cell phone, which that's not ideal. So there's just some other layers to that, but it does brand really nicely, and it's a nice feature. So now I'm back at the dashboard, and I just want to show you real quick a few more of these just quick little links that it's trying to take you to. Again, just trying to make it a little bit quicker for you. So here, today's objectives. So what it's doing here is build your pipeline. So when you click on this, it's just trying to walk you through a lot of the different tools and features that are under kvCORE for you. Most of these under that quick link are free. So Property Boost and then Get More Leads, those are paid options, but the rest of them, and these are a lot of different ones that we'll be going through later, but that's just a quick link to kind of get you started with, ways to engage and capture leads under kvCORE. Boost your property is what this one is. It's so boost your most powerful assets. But with that, I'll show you in a little bit the property boost feature. I'm going to walk you through a playbook in a little bit, and I'll explain that in a little bit more detail. Basically, though, the property boost, what it allows you to do is promote your listing, and it will go on, it's paid, and it will run on Facebook and Instagram. And so it does have some nice features with that, and I'll kind of explain that here in a little bit. And then generate more conversation. When you click on that, that's tied to Lead 360. That's tied to kvCORE, and it is a paid version. There is some nice components to it, but it can be a little costly. But again, it's just giving you some, additional ways that you can get leads paid if you were interested. And then the playbooks. So what is a playbook? playbooks are basically a step-by-step guide that's going to help you navigate kvCORE based on a few of these activities that you want to accomplish. So I will show you promote a listing here in a little bit. But for instance, like if you click on gather your sphere, when you click on it, it's kind of walking you through. It's like, okay, so we want to organize your contacts. We want to create actionable lists or put them in groups and categorize them. And then we want to figure out how are we going to stay in touch with them. So we're going to, probably set up some different alerts and automation. And when we do next training, we will be going into the Smart CRM and be showing you some of these features and kind of how you can set up some of the different alerts and things under there too. And then also the week after, there'll be some additional things. So work your sphere, again, that is really tight. You have to kind of do the gather your sphere and then you do work your sphere. So these playbooks are steps and it's kind of like a series. So you don't necessarily get them all done at one time. You kind of work through it as you go and then complete them, as you like as well. So then over here on the right, we have system training. So there's a few different things here. If you click on this view learning portal, it's going to take you into kvCORE inside real estate. And what it's going to do is it has a lot of trainings that you can go through as an agent and even as admin. And it's just a step-by-step welcome to do them, but it's just an option. So it's just trying to give you some other ways to navigate and learn kvCORE a little bit more. And then from here, the quick start. So this one's a little bit different. I'll just go. So this again is another step-by-step. I feel like this one navigates a little bit better as far as like telling you, okay, let's start here. This is like an hour and 20 minutes and we'll walk you through this. Where the first one, where it says the viewing, there's just a lot of different features and options. So it's a little bit more to navigate. There's also this view training calendar. And I just like to show you, so they have weekly, daily, pretty much different trainings that you can do. And you'll see it is a mix and it is for agents, it's for teams, it's also for office and admin. And so you can register for any of these. They used to have another spreadsheet where they would have all of these recordings, but they've kind of moved things around. I did in the outline give you a link to their YouTube channel. There's also the links here that some of the recordings might be under there as well. But a lot of times, at least in the past when I've registered for these, if I didn't attend, a lot of times they would send me the link to the recording too. So that might be also an option that they still do. And then the weekly market webinars. So this, actually, this is just another, I'm not going to go in there. It's just another layer of, again, additional trainings that you can do. That one kind of goes more into the marketplace, which is a mix of free and paid, but there's some other, trainings you can do. That's kind of that first part. Now I'm
Thanks,
going to,
Tracy. We do have a couple of questions in the chat. Richard says,
sure.
can you only sync one email address if you have multiple coming
Yes.
through Outlook?
Yes, you can only sync one of your emails. It won't allow you to do more than one.
More than one. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now, and I'm going to go through some things on that activity section at the bottom there. So one of the things that I'm logged in as my account, I'm a company admin, and I'm simply just going to use that just because I get more examples of all of these things in the activity feed here. You guys might not see all of these things, but at least I can go through them here. So the first thing I want to mention that all of this activity that's coming through in this bottom area, this is all the leads that have come through to you, or anytime your contacts perform an action within your kvCORE account, you're going to see all of that activity down here. So one of the things that I did want to show you on your kvCORE websites, there are several places, where leads can be generated, where people can get hold of you, where they can ask a question, things like that. So you'll see this Contact Me Now button at the top of Jeanette Meyer's website here. And on a listing detail page, you're going to see off to the right here, there's all these options. You know, somebody can save this property, they can favorite it. You know, they can start an account and, you know, get listing alerts, things like that. You can ask a question here, request a showing for this property. There are all kinds of links on the kvCORE websites that will generate leads, and there are ways that people can get hold of you. And you're going to see all of that in your activities section, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to cover these tabs up here at the top above the activities section, as well as these within the section here. So at the top here, I have it on activity. So I'm seeing everything, like all of the leads that have come through. And again, I am on the company scope because I'm a company admin. This is going to allow me to, you know, give you guys a little more examples. You guys might not have anything that you can click through in this drop down, except if you are part of a team. So team members, if you're a team admin, you'll be able to see yourself in this scope selector and maybe the team. And those are the only options that you're going to have in there. And I think it will default to your individual account one to begin with. So these first two buttons here for calls and tasks, if I click on them, I'm not going to see anything because I'm not an active agent. I'm not reaching out to leads or anything, so it's not going to show me anything. But you guys might see any calls that are past due or due today or coming up in the future. The beauty of the kvCORE system is that it can be set up to remind you, you know, to do all of those things, you know, when a lead comes in and whatnot. So you might be seeing those in these sections here. I'm not going to see them in my account because I'm an admin. This calendar section here, Tracy talked about syncing, you know, your Google account or your Outlook. If you sync your calendar, you'll be able to see your calendar in here. And then this My Business section, this is more or less for the office and company admins. Basically what you're going to see, I've got huge numbers coming through here, but you're going to see kind of a snapshot of all the activity within your account. I'm looking at the company here, so these are big numbers, but you'll be able to see things happening in your account. And then this company video, this is an area where either your office admin or those of us who are company admins can put a video, feature a video in there for you guys to see. And or we can add a blog RSS feed. This has nothing to do with the kvCORE blog. You guys all have the ability to blog on your kvCORE websites, but this is something different here. This is if we want to feature a different blog here. And then this What's New section is just an area where Inside Real Estate can put a little video of something that they want to feature here. So that's the My Business. So I'm going to go back to the activity here. And again, I am looking at all of the activity for the company. So I'm going to see a lot more in here than what you guys might see for your account. But I'm going to go through some things in this drop-down list here. And then there's some buttons over here. All of these things in the buttons are in this drop-down as well. They just put them over here because these are more commonly used ones, you know, just so you have a quick access button there. So in all activity, I'm going to see everything. I'm going to see all the leads coming through. I'm going to see, you know, when people view a listing, if somebody asked a question, this is going to show you everything. So this is a good place where you can come in and see any recent leads that have come through, or if, you know, somebody emailed you or texted you or something, you can see the message right there. So the first thing in this drop down is property views. So property views are when somebody goes in and, you know, they're on one of those listing detail pages, they're looking at one of the properties. You can see the property that they looked at, how long ago it was. If you click on the actual listing, it'll give you all of the listing details within kvCORE here, so you can look at it some more. You'll see there's a little icon here for a desktop and then a mobile one. And so you can see this person looked at this property once on mobile. So it's telling you how they're looking at it. And then there's all kinds of little action buttons down at the bottom here. You can email or call this person right away through the system, or you have the option to create a quick video in Core Video. this will pop up and you can create a quick video to send to somebody right off the bat. So these are quick action buttons, action items that you can do to respond to folks right away.
Shannon, is it normal that the listings that show up here aren't mine?
That is a possibility, yeah. Somebody else, and it might have come through, like if they were just on remax.com looking at a listing, they weren't necessarily on somebody else's website. It'll come through as a lead and go through our routing rules. So yeah, you might have gotten some leads of people looking at other listings that aren't necessarily yours. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, next in this drop down are questions. Folks can, click a button to submit a question. And again, if it's on remax.com, and they're asking a question about a property that's not necessarily yours, it will go through our routing rules. So you might get somebody asking a question about a property that's not yours. But again, here you'll have a little snapshot of when it came in, what their question was. And because I'm a company admin, I can see which agent it went to. I don't know if it's going to tell you which agent it went to, if they're all yours. And then again, you have that action item at the bottom. You can answer this person right away, send them an email through the kvCORE system right off the bat. So now in all of these snapshots, we're going to go through this a little more in detail when we do contacts. But if you click on the name or the phone number or whatever it is, that shows up at the top left of the box here, you're going to see all of the information about that person, what they did. And right here in the middle, you're going to see more details on the activity. So where it started is going to be at the very bottom of that activity. So you can see here's the full question that this person asked. And I can see which agent it went to here. And then it'll go through and say, okay, the system tries to validate whether it's a good lead. Here, somebody from Chad Nixon's team sent a text message back out, and the system will continue to record every single activity that happens as long as you're doing it through kvCORE here. So this is a good way to track and see, whether, this person, you reached out to this person when, and you can see, if you want to follow up with them. But we'll go through more details on these contact detail pages when we go through contacts and leads as well. But I just wanted to show you, you can see all of that activity right there in the middle if you click on the name of this person, if you want to find out more information. Okay, the next item is showing requests. So again, somebody can click a link, say, yes, I want to see this property. They're asking for your help in showing a property. And so here you'll see these are showing requests. Again, you'll get the property address. You can reply to them right away. All of that is right here in this activity. The next thing is valuations. So on your kvCORE agent website, you have the option to put this your home value up here in the navigation, or you can add it as a widget down below. There's this thinking of selling, get your home value. Somebody clicks on that, they can put in their home address to see what their home is worth. We have this same kind of thing on our Homes in Colorado platform where somebody can put in their property address and get some information on what their home might be worth. So that comes through as a lead to your kvCORE. And again, you'll be able to see anybody who put in an address to that home valuation widget or the page. So now in this example, most of the time, folks that visit that page, they're just putting in their property address, right? You're not necessarily going to have a name or an email or a phone number. You might not have any kind of useful information about this person who did that. So it's entirely up to you if you want to try to reach out to these people who put their address in. Most likely all you're going to have is the physical address. So, if it's, somewhere where you're farming, in a neighborhood that you're farming or something like that, you might want to print out a, you know, a property report or a seller report or something and mail it to them, you know, or go door to door and send it to them. But entirely up to you if you want to reach out to these folks, because all you're going to have at this point is a property address for most of them that put these in. Going on to new leads. This section is going to show you all of the new leads that have come through to you in the kvCORE system. Again, you can click on that name or the email or whatever it is that pops up in the top left there. Here's a phone number, and you can find out more information where these leads came from. It's going to tell you whether they're buyers, whether they're sellers, and you're going to see there's also a source. So you can see from the source, this one came from a phone call. Some of them are going to say, here, this one says property boost. So one of our agents did a property boost and got a lead from it. Here's one that says remax.com. So this is a lead that came in from remax.com and was routed to you. So again, you can see all of the information there, and you have options to email or call these people, send them a quick little video, or even text right here from the system. One thing to note with texts, you might not be able to text somebody right off the bat because of spam filtering and things like that. The system does not allow that. Usually somebody has to opt in to be texted to in order to receive texts from you. So you might not be able to text them right off the bat in the system. Tracy, I don't know if you know anything about this, but I think if it gives you the option, because this one came in as a phone call anyway. And so I'm wondering, or maybe if it gives you the option to text, maybe you should be able to text them from there, because some of them don't have text.
Yeah, and
Just
some
noticing
of
that.
this, it's a little different, you know, because when you're on your desktop, so for instance, with the text, it's gonna, you know, text directly from the smart number. That's why I was mentioning, like, if you download the mobile, or you just text from your phone, right? But you could also from the kvCORE mobile app, if you go in there and you pulled this, because this activity is under there too, you could text and it has another layer, will let you text from your phone number or from the smart number. And just like this call feature, you know, when you're on your desktop, you're really not going to call from here. You're going to either call them on your cell phone or you're going to go through the mobile app and call that way.
So that would work better using the mobile app. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so new text, kind of the same thing. You can see any texts that have come in from folks to you through the system. And again, as Tracy mentioned, it'd be easier to text them back or call them back if you're on the mobile app rather than on the desktop. But you'll see there's some options here to reply to some of these people who have texted into the system. It says when it happened, and then the message here. New emails, same thing. You can see emails that have come through to the system via your smart CRM or your website or whatever. And you can see all of this on this activity tile, what the message was, when they sent it. And you have a reply button right here where you can email them a response right back. Okay, and then next here, we have hot leads. So the system is going to mark folks who have triggered 4 or more behavioral alerts in the system, meaning these people have done quite a few things. Maybe they've, you know, favorited a property, looked at it several times. They've done quite a few actions, and the system is marking them as hot leads. And you can tell this is a hot lead. You'll see this little flame icon in the right-hand corner here. So even if you're looking through, you know, your regular leads or all of the activity, if you happen to see one that has this little flame icon, that's a hot lead, meaning this person has done several things in, you know, maybe the past few hours, past few days, whatever, it's considered a hot lead. You should reach out to these people right away. The other thing that I haven't seen yet is you might see a property with a little heart icon in the top right here. If you see the heart, that just means that person favorited that property. So they looked at it, they liked it enough that they clicked, yeah, I like this, I want to favorite it. And so if you see the heart icon, that's what that means. I would suggest reaching out to that person too, because that's another activity or something, you know, that they performed on the website. So that person is definitely interested in that property. All right, so going down the list, you can also see any of your new listings that have recently come into the system here. Obviously, I'm an admin, so it's not going to show me any new listings in this section because I'm not an agent. I don't have any, but you guys are going to see your new listings as they come through. If you aren't seeing your listings come through to the kvCORE system or to your kvCORE website, then one of the things you might need to check is whether your MLS ID or IDs, if you have more than one, are in your Mac Center profile, because that's how the system ties your listings to you. And then next to last here, we have email events. So this is a little bit different. It's not looking at the emails specifically that are coming in. So before we were looking at the actual emails, but this is email events. Whether or not somebody opened an email, you know, looked at it, an email that was sent out from kvCORE. So if you have some folks on, you know, some of the smart campaigns, or you've been sending mass emails out or something like that, you can come in here and see folks who've actually opened and looked at the email. Okay, so this gives you a little idea of those who are actually opening it. Again, you can reach out to these people right away if you see that activity. And then last but not least, because I'm an admin, I'm not going to see anything in here, but this CLM marketing materials, this is Core Listing Machine. And we'll go over Core Listing Machine in a later class, but there are kits within Core Listing Machine. And whenever you have a new listing, it's going to automatically create a bunch of marketing pieces within that kit. You know, so you're going to get a flyer, maybe a postcard, a social media post. You're going to get a bunch of marketing pieces that are created automatically for you right off the bat. And so in this section, you're going to be able to see, it'll say, you know, that your kit has been completed or whatever, and you can click on it to see all the different marketing pieces. But again, I'm not an agent, so I'm not seeing anything here, but you'll be able to see all of those whenever a kit is created for any of your new listings.
All right. Well, one thing I wanted to show you too, just real quick, with all of these, you know, activity streams that Shannon kind of walked through, I just wanted to visually show you that a lot of those are feeding from like a property page on either your agent website, team website, you know, could also be from remax.com. But a lot of those inquiries and things are coming from these little things that are over on the side here. So when they save, they're then prompted to set up an account. And then that's where they have the little heart and the favorite. So it'll show that. And it just kicked me out. And then you can also chat. So that's where some of those are. Just feel like that kind of helps you connect the dots a little bit more. So you know exactly, you know, where they might be coming from or inquiring and what that looks like on your website. So from here, what I wanted to do is I wanted to walk you specifically through how you can promote your listing through the playbook feature. So again, on your dashboard, you could click here and it'll take you. You can also view all playbooks. It will take you there. And if that's closed, you can click on the menu bar and then you can click on playbooks over here on the left. And then from here, you would just pick open playbook. So again, it kind of depends how things are getting fed, into kvCORE, but it usually defaults to your listings. You also have options where you can click on, say, like your team listings. And then it also has company listings and Remax Alliance listings, which those are pretty much the same thing, but it just then would open those up and then you would select. Obviously, most times you're going to be doing your listings or your team listings. If you were doing another listing through one of our offices, you'd have to, make sure you work with that agent and they're good with you promoting for them. So from here, what it's going to do is it'll show your most active listings on the left, and then it'll say, okay, do you want to start promoting? And then on the right, it's where you have already started your playbook. So this is where you would either revisit or continue. So we're just going to go into one and click into here. So now it's kind of walking you through, okay, so now we want to promote your listing. Let's walk through what those steps look like under kvCORE to do that. So from here, the first option is notify agents. And so over here on the right, it's going to show you what this looks like. Now, the one thing with this is when you are notifying agents, this is only in your office. It is not company-wide. So just keep that in mind. That's just not a feature available right now, but you can select that if you want to announce it to all the agents in your office. You could also, if you wanted to do your team, or you could also select specific agents that maybe you wanted to send this to. And and I'll show you what this looks like in a minute, because I put myself in and I said, send the email. And so I'll show you what it looks like when it comes through the email so you can kind of see what it looks like too. From here, it also has a template. So there's some layers to this. kvCORE had already created this template for you. So for this, keep it simple. You can use this. There is a whole nother layer where you can customize and create your own templates, and then you could actually pull that in instead. So what it's showing you is, okay, here's the subject line and here's what the announcement is. It's obviously when it gets sent, it's going to already feed in the details, the listing address, the features, all of that will be fed in there before it gets sent out. There's also, if you just right now wanted to edit a little bit of the wording here, you can click on this edit, and then it actually brings you into the advanced editor so you could go in and kind of tweak this. You'll see here in a minute, I would actually just delete this office logo if you have your email signature already in your kvCORE platform, which that was in our training last week that we kind of walked you through how you could do that. But you'll see in a minute, I say delete it because it kind of overlaps with your signature, but it's pretty user friendly. It gives you, I just clicked on it and I hit the little delete and it made it go away. And then just to keep it simple, I won't go into all the advanced editing, that'll be down the road. But you can come in here and edit the way you want to reword this, and then you just hit done. And then it basically just saves it for this time. It doesn't save it as the actual template, so just keep that in mind. And then you'll see it also has a find matching buyers, which I'll kind of explain what that is here in a minute too. The core video doesn't necessarily work under this. So just if you were just sending it to one person, then you could do that unless you have the paid version of kvCORE. So, don't worry so much about that feature in here. But then once it looks good, you would say send email, or you could say skip, or you could just move on to the next if you didn't want to use this feature. So the next one is you go into, and let me show you what that email is, sorry. So when you get this is what me as the agent, if I receive this announcement, this is what it looks like. It comes through my email with the subject. It feeds the property details in here. And then it does have a find matching buyers. So actually what this feature does, which is really cool, and I'll show you this in a couple different ways. If I have my contacts in kvCORE And let's say I have a few buyers with their criteria of what they're looking for. What kvCORE will do is it'll go through your CRM and it will let you know if you have anybody that matches this property. So that is a really cool feature. And I'll show you in another section where if you send this out to agents in your office, it will also let you know how many matching buyers they might have under their kvCORE platform. It won't tell you the buyer, obviously the buyer details, but it'll at least let you know if there's any matching. So that could give you another avenue to follow up and, talk to other agents about this too. So now I'm on contact matching buyers. So what this is doing is this is actually going through this agent's smart CRM, and it's letting her know that these different contacts might be interested in this property based on, could be criteria she had put in there. It could be based on search alerts that she sent out, and then that person or, part of her contact sphere went in and selected and liked and favored and did some different things on their end to create where kvCORE thinks they might be a matching buyer under here. So that's kind of a cool feature. As you start using this, the more info you put in here, the more things that you send out, and then you have people actually engaging with you, it does these smart features. That's why you are seeing, and you keep hearing, smart CRM and smart campaigns. And so there's just a lot of really neat layers to that. What you can also do, which I didn't explain this on the first page, is you also have an option where you'll see you can send a text message and you can also send an email. Now, let's say you're like, yeah, I don't want to do the text. So you just uncheck that and then you can go through and same thing. You can also edit if you did want to say do the text message, you can go in here and tweak this too. But you can also unselect it and just say, no, I just want to send an email instead. So then from here, once this looks good, you would send. And actually, it brings up a prompt where you have to go in and schedule it. So it won't just send it. Actually, I think it does have a feature where it'll tell you could send it right now. Just remember, and we'll have this in upcoming trainings, when you go to schedule emails under here, it uses Eastern time. So just remember it's a 2-hour difference. So you just have to kind of remember that and go back to Mountain time. Just remember, and it kind of reminds you when you go to schedule it, it'll say, Eastern time. So you'll just have to adjust it. So you'll also notice, I just want to comment here where it says system smart list, and then it also says custom list. So you could also create your own list of buyers, and then you could pull them into here based on a filter you created or a hashtag that you created. And we have, our next training that we do, the Smart CRM, will kind of walk you through what that really means and what that looks like. So it just has another advanced layer where if you wanted to pull a custom group you had created, you could do that as well. So then from here too, there is the custom text code. So what happens is kvCORE will automatically create a text code for each one of your properties. And so that's what it's showing here. And what that means is then you get to use this text code for, promotional pieces. So if you wanted to do it for flyers, postcards, writers, digital ads, there's a whole nother layer under here where you could create text codes that are not directly or specific to a property as well. But for this instance, this is just for this property. You can also go in, if it's not your favorite how it's set up the text code, you can edit and then you can save, and then you can use, however you created and customize that text code, you could use that instead. So it does give you the capability to edit that. The next part, as you click through, it's leverage social media. So this property boost, and unfortunately, I used to be able to walk you through this. We're gonna try, but the last time I came in here, it looked like it was gonna make me pay before I could actually show you kind of the steps of how you could set this up. But what this is this is allowing you to promote your listing on Facebook and Instagram. It is a paid feature, and you're gonna see over here on the right, it's showing you what the ad will look like mobile, and then you can also click desktop to see what it looks like. What this allows, so you can do for, open house, just listed, price reduced, just sold. And when you go to click boost, it's going to make you get started, and then you have to kind of walk through. So I'm going to explain it, and then I actually, in my outline, I have a video, and I'm going to walk you through just a little bit of it visually so you can see, because there is one part in there that you can target areas, and I feel like it's important for you to go in and at least customize that a little bit more. But what'll happen here is you're going to say get started. And then once you get into the actual property boost part, up at the very top, there's going to be 4 buttons. And it's if you want to do an open house, just listed, price reduced, or just sold. So what'll happen with the open house is you do have to kind of set it up 4 days in advance. It needs about a day to process, and then it runs for 3 days before your open house. Then the just listed runs for a week. And then there's some other extended ones that you can do as well, as far as for payment to get leads. So the price starts at $45 for open house, and then it's $60 for a 7-day ad that will run. And how it works is it's not tied to, your Facebook by any means. What happens is it uses the back end algorithm where it kind of sees, are they within the target area that you may have set up under here, which I'll kind of show here in a minute. Have they been looking at houses? Are they remodeling? It uses those kind of on the back end. And if they hit any of those marks, then your ad would pop up. And then with that, there's some layers with that too, because it basically, if they view it, if they click, if they request information, then obviously they become a lead to you. And then those details go into your smart CRM and the kvCORE platform. And then it gives you the capability to go in and follow up with them. It will create a hashtag called property boost, and it will also have a hashtag tied to the actual property that they had clicked on. And there is a whole nother layer in there where if you had the smart campaign turned on, there's a property boost smart campaign that would automatically start touching them and reminding you to do things as well. So when you come in here, you have the capability to edit the image if it wasn't your favorite. Sometimes it just pulls in that first photo from MLS, and it may or may not be the one that you want to show on your ad. So you can select a different one if you want. It does have where you could turn on display price. I would leave that off because you want to try to capture them to click on more details, but you can turn this display image overlay on if you wanted the banner to say just listed, open house. That's what would pop up over here. There's also this little section, and I'll kind of play it here, but when you open up the default site, what it's going to do is, I'm going to stop. So the default site, it should automatically go to your remax.com property page, but I always say click on this arrow and just select your website just to, be sure that it's going to the right place. It should default, but it doesn't hurt since it's an option to select that. And then this I'm showing you, you would go in to change the target area. So you'll see it pops up this little circle, and it usually is within a 15-mile radius of your property, kind of going around that area, but you also have the capability to do that target area to expand it. So you might want it to be larger. And I would definitely adjust it because 15-mile radius is, not as ideal. I had hit add target area, and then it created this new circle, and I just basically selected it and then I moved it. So you can also go in and create two areas, because maybe you want northern Colorado, but you also want down in the Denver Front Range area. So then you have two, and you can even increase this so then the radius gets even larger. So I just wanted to show you that, because it does make a difference when you are paying for that, to have that coverage go a little bit further. So I did in my outline also put that link to that video that I had created some time ago. That way, if you want to refer to it, I also walk you through a few more steps on how, how to go through the property boost part. So the other part here, when you go in, so we just went through property boost. Now I clicked on digital promotion. So, and sorry guys, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to hurry. We're now past the hour here. So I'll go through this real quick. I just want to highlight a couple more things. So over here on the digital promotion side, this is really just giving you options for squeeze page, landing page, if you wanted to use these to post or promote your listing. So a squeeze page is basically just your property page on your website, and it has the capability where you could just share the link on your website, but if you wanted to post this, you can. You can also edit the settings where you can tell it that they can look 2 times, and then you're going to capture or try to get their information after they look at a couple properties. Landing page, I feel like, is not as beneficial for your property, and we're going to be going through some of our other trainings. I'll explain more. Basically, a squeeze page is where you have a filter, whether it's specifically about your property, or maybe you create a filter based on school district, price point, and criteria, and then you share that out. And then the reason behind it is you're trying to create some type of criteria that's a little bit harder for somebody to navigate and create on their own. And then you give them that information, you let them look at it maybe a couple of times, and then after that, you try to capture their information. Where landing page, a best example of a landing page is, let's say you have a buyer guide and you want to, you want to capture their information, and then in return, you're going to give them something. So you have a landing page where it says, hey, would you like to get my most recent buyer's guide? Fill out this information here. Once they submit, then you would be giving them something. And then again, that's trying to capture leads for you. So that's kind of the purpose of this, is to try to capture additional leads promoting your property. So then the follow-up communication, that's obviously that last step where, as you are doing this, it says, okay, now you've gone through, do you want to initiate the seller report email? So you can go up at the top here and you can add your seller. And then what it will do is it will show you an example of what the email will be sent out. And it basically gives a report of how many people have looked at it online, how many views on Zillow and Realtor and any other websites that are online. So it just would then send that details also to the seller if you connected that. I had in my outline, and I'm not as familiar with RE Colorado, but I do in Iris, they have a really great seller report that has a heat map and a lot more details that I actually like a little bit better than this one, but it's still a good feature. I'm not sure RE Colorado may have something like that too, but it's just trying to walk you through some of those. 2 more things I want to show you real quick, just because this is kind of cool. When you do the playbook results tab, it shows you your progress, but it also over on the right will show you, for instance, okay, remember when we were notifying agents and also notifying contacts about this property? So this is giving you a summary. And so this agent actually also was doing property boost. And so it's also giving her information of all the leads she captured based on her property boost that she had done. And then it also will let her know, if there was any last contact, or it'll also, especially if it was a contact within her CRM, she could go in and follow up with them. There's a way that you can click here where it says view in Smart CRM, And then what it does is it actually creates a filter and it goes through and it pulls, oh, I won't do this, it'll take it a second. It'll show like everybody in your smart CRM that matches the criteria that they might be interested in this. And then that just gives you another layer where you could, you know, send them some type of campaign or some type of correspondence under there. And then the agents, this again, what it would do is any agents that you had notified under your office, it's going to show you who you sent it to. And if they had anybody in their smart CRM that matched the criteria, it would tell you that there might be 2 buyers or maybe there's 5 buyers. So that just gives you another layer where you could go in and follow up with the agents and just say, hey, you know, I saw that you had a couple matches and just wanted to follow up with you about that. And then the quick sheet, again, is just giving you those additional resources that we had already walked through if you just want to do those quick links and copy and share and use those. So sorry, I was kind of going through that fast, but that's kind of in a nutshell. Obviously, it's a lot. Those playbooks, they're really neat. And the more you use kvCORE and engage and the more details you put in there, the more it's going to really start doing things for you and start, you know, helping you work your business in addition to everything else.
Yeah, the more you use it, the more response you're going to get from people, and more leads you're going to get, and it just kind of snowballs from there. So,
Like, I know it was a lot, but lots of good stuff.
all right. Well, thank you all for attending today, and hopefully we'll see you next week.